Povetkin smash. Well, the reality is that Alexander Povetkin is a victim, okay, in this situation. The reality is, since Alexander Povetkin, right, is not the complexion that the agenda prefers, okay, he has been victimized by the establishment and the agenda. What does the evidence show us? The evidence shows us that, and tell me these are facts, they were negotiating in the fight, right? In these negotiations, Wilder, who happens to be the WBC champion, that is true. I'm not going to deny that. That's fact. But it is true that they were in negotiations. And Wilder was being, very insistent in the negotiations. What was Wilder pushing for? Wilder was pushing for, for VADA testing. So you got to question, why would Wilder, ask for VADA testing? They wouldn't let Povetkin use RUSADA because the fix was in. The fix was in. What a coincidence that this substance was just banned in 2016. See? You see? Remember when Povetkin was saying, yo, chill, we're going to work the fight, negotiations, Povetkin was calling the shots, he was calling the shots. And he wanted to chill. He wasn't ducking. He just wanted to chill. He said, yo, chill, Wilder, chill. I'll fight you, but chill. Taking his time. That gave Wilder and the agenda time to prepare. More time. See? Since they had more time to prepare, it allowed them to come up with, these ideas. I think they found out, because you see people in the agenda talking about, how this is a fraternity and everybody knows what's up and everybody talks about, trainers that leave. And, you heard 78 Sports TV's video, how everybody knows something and people snitch and this, that, and the third. Well, somebody went ahead and told, VADA and the agenda who work alongside YouTubers here on YouTube and the entire establishment in the sport of boxing to give preferred treatment to fighters of certain complexions, dark complexions. Well, we all know how that agenda works, right? We all know how it works. The agenda, we know how it works. That's right. Excuse me. What's up, Hawker? What's up, Hawker Mustang, buddy? What's up, Hawker? I don't even get why people think Hawker Mustang's a bad guy. He just has his opinion. That's all it is. But anyway, the reality is that the fix was in. So this banned substance from 2016 January. So what did the agenda do? The agenda made a legal substance that is used in Russia. They made it illegal, conveniently enough, just so they can bust Povetkin, for YouTubers here on YouTube could start spreading the agenda against Povetkin. That's what happened. Yeah. Yeah. It's all part of the agenda. The agenda, Whew. Oh man, they're gonna sound something like that. I think I'm starting to nail it. I'm starting to nail it. I really am. I'm starting to nail this shit, you know. But anyway, um, Povetkin got caught. That's it. It's a banned substance. End of story. In all seriousness, as someone, I mean, I like Povetkin. The dude was chubby. Okay, it's, you know, like so. I've always thought he's an exciting fighter, and you know, but unfortunately he got caught. You know, and that's it. You know, that's all it has to be. He got caught. He got busted. And when somebody gets busted for cheating, you know, they shouldn't be praised or defended, right? Now, granted, I'll give you this. It could be a false positive. Now, false positives are not very likely, but they're possible. So we have to give that benefit of the doubt for in the meantime, okay? And if it comes out that it's a false positive, then everyone needs to turn around and say, all right, cool, all right? This is a very common substance. I just took some short time to look at it. I'm not an expert in it or anything, but it's a very common substance in Russia, Ukraine, and Eastern Europe. So you know, it's not like, oh by golly gee, where does this substance come from, right? Also from reports I just saw, I haven't listened to the video yet. Mr. Boxing today about, but I saw the title of the video. I'm going to listen to it right now. But if that's true, just from what I'm gathering from that title, that he only had 80, you know, whatever amount of it. So if they're admitting he did it, but just in small amounts, he still did it. You know, the funny part is a lot of these dudes, you know, they get all butthurt, you know, and it's like, oh, well, they don't say anything about when Marquez was, like, everybody was saying Marquez was juicing. Everybody in the white TBC was saying, oh, okay. Yeah, he was with Herrera over there and, you know, whatever his last name was, right? Over there in Mexico where the shit's legal, and, you know, all of a sudden Marquez is fucking like, you know, looking like in the best shape of his life and carrying power. And, you know, sure, there was the acne in the back. That doesn't always mean that, but, you know, you could look at that and be suspicious. And people were suspicious of Povetkin, and you know, they were right. You know, he was using a banned substance, and that's it. Like, there's no more to it. That's all it is. He got caught, all right? But don't invent shit over there, Sean Ewan. Like, nobody said anything about Marquez. Like, what are you talking about? Even though Marquez never tested positive. But what made him kind of guilty in the eyes of some fans? He didn't do the test. You know, that's basically what it is. All right? So there's not this big denial of Marquez doing it. That's something you made up in your head. Right? When Peterson got caught, like, people were here, just every channel was talking about it. Like, you know, when Eric Morales got caught, I was one of the people involved in that when he got caught. Not involved in catching him, but in putting the story out. You know, so it wasn't that. It's just, in this case, it's funny. It's just funny because there's some individuals that are butthurt about it. Okay, that's really all it is. Okay, shit is insane. The shit is funny. Povetkin smash. Povetkin smash Wilder. Povetkin smash American that come to Russia. Americans in America will cheer for Povetkin smash. You know, the shit is hilarious. All right. By the way, this is proof, concrete proof, that if VADA testing was available, all right, back in the day, and Apollo Creed would have asked for VADA testing against Ivan Drago, the fight would have been canceled. Drago would have been busted. Okay. Rocky 4 would have been it would have been a boring ass movie if VADA was involved, you know, because like if VADA was involved in Rocky 4, this is how it would go. They would be hyping up, you know, Ivan Drago. In 2016, the American fight fans will be cheering Ivan Drago. You know, they would be like, hell yeah, Ivan Drago! Hail, Ivan Drago! He would be like, you know, they would love Ivan Drago here. And there would be booing, you know, Apollo Creed. Okay, you know, they'll be calling Creed all types of names, Runner, and, you know, all this crazy shit. And that's how it would go. And then, of course, Um, but if there was VADA testing, Ivan Drago would have been busted. He would have been busted for using steroids, and the fight would have been canceled. And I don't know, maybe we would have had Apollo Creed versus Rocky 3, the trilogy, right? So maybe it would have been a better movie, and that would have been very interesting, and that's an interesting concept. I never thought about that. VADA testing may have kept Apollo Creed alive, and we would have seen Rocky versus Apollo Creed 3. Because that would have been the fight that makes sense, right? That would have been the fight the fans want to see. That, oh, Apollo Creed, you're back. Oh, man, the fight with a Russian. Oh, the Russian's a fucking cheater. He got caught. Now, if it was 2016, they would be saying it's an agenda against Ivan Drago in favor of Creed. And Creed would have been blamed for it somehow. And Ivan Drago's, positive would have been swept under the rug. And then the fight wouldn't have happened, and he would go straight and got in a title shot against Rocky. It would go something like that. And of course, just like in the movie in 2016, Rocky would have had no leverage as champion, and he would have to go on to Russia to fight. But with that said, this is DStyleBoxing. Keep it boxing. I'm out.